Hello everyone and welcome to a new video on the channel. Today's video is going to be my weekly watches as usual, going up a bit later today. It will be up on Sunday still, but in the afternoon. I'm recording this just after 12 o'clock, which is when I usually put it up, but already had a very busy morning this morning. 10 watched this week, very mixed bag for me this week. Starting off with a film that generally is considered one of the best films ever made. I just thought it was okay. Very much in the minority on that one, and that is, oh, it's just flown out, bear with me, The Godfather Part 2. Yeah, I know, you're probably shocked. I didn't enjoy the first one very much. Felt very much the same with the second one. I still tried with the second one. It's just not my sort of film. It just bored me quite a bit. It was too long. Generally, I found it uninteresting. I am going to still at some point watch the third one. I think I will still keep it in the collection because of the films it is, and who knows, 10 years down the line my thoughts may change on it. But yeah, I just didn't click with it. I didn't think it was my type of film. I'm not going to say it wasn't a great film, because it is it's a very well made film. It was just not for me. Just didn't really get much enjoyment out of it. I just saw it as a waste of 3 hours, which I know for some people is probably criminal, but yeah, just one of those films that just wasn't for me. The Godfather Part 2. And next up, we have a great film that I watched. It's an Irish film called Calvary, I believe. Calvary. Basically, about this priest. I think it's on an island in Ireland. Um, who, or maybe it is just in Ireland. Can't tell really. Basically, the film opens where he's threatened during a confession, and he has to try and work out kind of. He says that he knows who's threatened him straight away, and they've basically told him to get his life in order because the following Sunday they were going to kill him. So it's very much a character film. Brendan Gleeson, you've got Chris O'Dowd, Aidan Gillen, Kelly Riley, Dylan Moran, uh, Emmett Walsh, Domhnall Gleeson, his son's in it. Decent cast. And yeah, I thought if you like your black comedies, if you like In Bruges, um, same sort of comedy. It is the same. It's the director of that brother, John Michael McDonagh, who also did, as you see on the front, The Guard, which I've not seen yet. But yeah, very dark comedy that I just really enjoyed. Just thought it was a very good story, and thoroughly enjoyed it. That one, Calvary. Next up, a British film here. Did I see? Yeah, I saw quite a few British films this week. From last year, and it is The Critic, starring Ian McKellen, Gemma Arterton, Mark Strong, Ben Barnes, Alfred Enoch, Romola Garai, and Leslie Manville, all centred around this notorious theatre critic played by Ian McKellen, who's feared by actors for being given scathing reviews, specifically Gemma Arterton's character, who he just has taken a dislike to and writes, as I say, scathing reviews about her. The owner of the newspaper he works for has just passed away, and his son, played by Mark Strong, is taking it over. And he doesn't like the way that he writes his articles. And something happens. I'm not going to say what. I'll just say that these two form an unlikely alliance to try and do something. That's all I say. It's a thriller, but it's best to go in not knowing too much. I think that's enough to know going in. If you like a good British thriller, it's decent, it's solid. It's not incredible or anything, but it's definitely a solid British thriller. Ian McKellen's always great, and yeah, another one that I really enjoyed. The Critic. Next up, which was my watch pile pick of the week, I watched The Road, which is a John Hillcoat film based on a Cormac McCarthy novel. And yeah, it was kind of what I expected. It's a very, as I said in my video, grim, bleak film. Not much hope. It's about when there's nothing left, there's still the love of a father and son. I suppose about endurance in a way, but it's not a pleasant watch. It's a very hard watch. It's definitely a one-time watch for me, not one that I would go back to and watch again. I'm glad that I have watched it because I did still find it interesting, and I thought the performances from everyone were still very good. It's just not one that would be really that bothered about going back to again. So yeah, that one will be going in the pile to get rid of. So that is The Road. Then next up we have Just One of the Guys, which Ash recommended me to get. I believe he also got this recently as well. And if you like your 80s teen comedy, like I suppose it's not a sex comedy, it's more of just a teen comedy, then you'll like this. It's about a young woman who is basically she writes this assignment that her teacher turns his nose up at because she's a girl. So she decides, because she wants to get into this competition and win it, that she will go to a competing school whilst her parents are away, as a boy, go pretend to be a boy with the help of her brother. So it's obviously, you can kind of guess where it goes. Very comedic, very funny, wouldn't be made nowadays, but it's a very good film, very good 80s film. You've got William Zabka in this, who you may know from The Karate Kid, or more recently the Cobra Kai series, who plays your stereotypical bully in high school. You've got Sherilyn Fenn, who plays whatchamacallit in Twin Peaks. I can't think of a name. Oh, is it Audrey? It's Audrey in it. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's Audrey in Twin Peaks. She's got a small part in this as well. And yeah, solid watch, decent film, one that I would go back to again. Probably next, I'm going to say the highlight of the week for me. I've thoroughly enjoyed this one, so thanks to Stuart for the recommendation and for the vote in last week's Watch Pile episodes, because it was a great watch. And that is The War of the Roses, which is a Danny DeVito film, also starring him and Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner. Another film they probably can't. Well, I say that they are actually remaking this. It's supposed to come out this year with Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman. I guess a British reimagining of sorts. But yeah, it's just very funny how they try. They slowly go crazier and crazier and crazier, and the more hilarity ensues as it goes on. And yeah, I just love this film. I think it's just great watch. As I said, you've got Michael Douglas, Kathleen Turner, Danny DeVito. Great score as well. If you like your 80s comedies that are a bit of a... I'm trying to think of what other... I suppose it is along the same lines of Romance in the Stone, that sort of comedy, obviously, where they were all in before. But yeah, I really enjoyed it as well. Produced by James L. Brooks, who's a great producer and director. Feels like one of his films, and thoroughly enjoyed that one. The War of the Roses, 100% highlight of the week. Next up, a surprise for me. Obviously, unfortunately, this week we lost the great Gene Hackman. So in his honour, I had to watch at least one film that I haven't seen before of his, and I decided to go with The French Connection 2. I'd already seen the first one, which is a fantastic film. I'd heard the second one's not as good, and it's not, but still a very good film in my opinion. I really enjoyed it. Loved the way that it went. Obviously, it swaps New York for Marseille, where he's kind of out of his waters. He doesn't speak the language. He is trying to track down the drug lord that was responsible for the aftermath of the first one, I suppose. And something happens to him, and let's just say it drives him further to catch him. And thought it was really good, really enjoyed it. Some difficult scenes to watch in there, but as far as like thrillers go, solid film. Gene Hackman gave a solid performance, not quite as good as the first one, but still a solid film, and would definitely recommend that if you've not seen it. Then next up, I watched Gangster #1, which was chosen a few weeks ago in the watch pile. Just finally getting round to it now. It's a British gangster film set in the 60s about this enforcer, played by Paul Bettany. It's basically Malcolm McDowell. in the late 90s, looking back over his life. He's now like this big gangster. He's looking back on how he got there, and Paul Bettany plays a young version of him, and he starts working for the big, what's his name, Freddie Mays, who's the Butcher of Mayfair, played by David Thewlis, as an enforcer, and slowly kind of works his way up the food chain. And yeah, it was a decent British gangster film. It's not like The Gentleman or Snatch or Legend for me, but I still enjoyed it. It is one I'll keep in the collection, and it is one that I'll watch again. Great soundtrack as well, really good performances, great British film overall. Gangster number 1. 2 left. Next up, we have one that Roy chose last week that I omitted from the Watch Pile episode. Sorry about that again, Roy, but I said I will watch this so I can let him know what I thought about it this week. And it was Glengarry Glen Ross. I loved this film. I thought it's a very dialogue-heavy film. It's obviously based on a stage play, but you've got a fantastic ensemble cast here. You've got the fantastic Al Pacino, who is the highlight of the film in my opinion, gives a fantastic performance in this. You have Jack Lemmon, Alec Baldwin, Kevin Spacey, Alan Arkin, Ed Harris, Jonathan Pryce. What a fantastic cast. All about real estate, the world of real estate basically. And it's these 4 salesmen who, the sales aren't doing too good in their office. So this motivational salesman, played by Alec Baldwin, comes in and basically says the top 2 salesmen can stay, the bottom 2 go, basically. So they're basically given a certain amount of time to sell as much as they can, and it's the lengths they go to it, and it's just excellent writing here. David Mamet wrote the play and wrote the screenplay for this, and yeah, excellent. As I said, everyone gives knockout performances in this, Al Pacino especially, and the last, I'd say 40 minutes had me hooked, from kind of, because it starts at night, and then it goes into the following day. I'd say as soon as the following day hit, I was gripped. I didn't take my eyes off the screen. I thought it was incredible the way that they did it, the performances, and yeah, thanks Roy for recommending this, because one that I'll go back to again because I did thoroughly enjoy it. And then yesterday afternoon, I had a busy day yesterday, so I only got one physical film watched. I did watch another one on streaming, but I won't talk about that on here. This one, it's one I should have probably watched a long time ago. I got this box set last month before, and I dived into the first one, that being the Universal Monsters collection, and I watched Dracula from 1931 with Bela Lugosi, obviously as the Count, and I thought it was a very good film. For its time, very well made. Just the way that they did it, the fact that they kept it really creepy still. Bela Lugosi, what a performance as Dracula. Just thought it was a thoroughly entertaining, thoroughly enjoyable watch, and I'm very much looking forward to delving into the other films in this box set. I've heard great things about Creatures from the Black Lagoon, Bride of Frankenstein, The Wolfman. I've heard good things about all of them. But yeah, I think the next one that I'll probably go for is Frankenstein. I think it's the next one, if you're going in order. That was also 1931. So that'll be the next one that I check out. But glad that I finally dived into this set. I should probably take that sticker off. But that is it. That's everything that I've watched in the last week. Went through that one quicker than I thought I would. Don't know what will be planned for watching the coming week. Might get The Godfather 3 watched, but I think I'll give that a miss for a while now. There's a few that I have my eye on for watching. I'll probably watch something this afternoon and something this evening. But yeah, there's definitely a lot. There's been a few already chosen for my Watch Pile episode on Wednesday, so if you haven't voted yet and told me what you would like me to review, then you've still got time to do it. You've got until Tuesday evening to let me know, because that'll be when I record the video. And that is it. Have you seen any of the ones that I've watched this week? What have you watched this week, and what did you think about what you watched? Let me know everything down in the comment section below. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Turn your notification bell on so you know when I have a new video uploaded to the channel. Comment down below anything and everything. As you know, I always take the time to get back to anyone that leaves me a comment, because I really do appreciate it. And that is it. So until next time, everyone, take care. Goodbye.